And so with that, I would love to pass it on to Dyami. Thank you so much for joining us today. And you have the floor.
Bonjour, Anishna, Dyami Thomas Indigenous Cause, Ande Wejien, Gazagwaska Jamaica, Mongi Tiko Ni Tao Jibwam. Hello, everybody. My name is Dyami Thomas. I am an enrolled Klamath member from Southern Oregon, and I'm also Leech Lake Ojibwe from Northern Minnesota. A little bit about myself. I was born and raised in Portland, Oregon. I now live in Phoenix, Arizona, but I'm currently in Central California at the moment. And I am a certified suicide prevention peer counselor, along with my sister, Rebecca Kirk. Like Maka said, she'll be the keynote tomorrow. And I'm just so blessed, so honored to join this virtually, because with everything going on in the world, now is the time to become more closer than ever. And I think a lot of people have been waiting for a sign, for a moment, for something just to like really spark inside themselves, because with the whole pandemic, quarantine, and just the way 2020 has been played out, everything just needs to surface pretty much. But thank you again, Maka. I do appreciate it. I do want to start this out with everybody watching right now with just a little exercise, and you don't have to get up or anything, but if you can please just close your eyes with me. And I want everybody to envision themselves at their most vulnerable. And at your most vulnerable, I want you to see yourself in your most comfortable, most beautiful state, whether that's outside in the land, if that's at home, if that's in a cabin, if that's in an office, at school, wherever it is, with your best friends, with your loved ones, by yourself, in your regalia, if it's in the shower, wherever it may be, close your eyes and envision yourself there right now. Once you find yourself and you can really focus in on where you want to be, say these things to yourself. And I want you guys to repeat after me too, whether that's in your own head or whether that's out loud. But keep your eyes closed and repeat after me. I am worthy. I am beautiful. I am meant to be here. And I have purpose. Now I want you to slowly open up your eyes. And I want you to just really focus in on where you are right now, because every single one of us are, each and every single one of us, we're meant to be here, whether that's physically in Alaska, whether that's virtually on here on the computer. You guys have to understand everything we have done in our lives, everything we have ever accomplished, everything we have ever spoken into existence brought us here at this very moment. And I want you guys to realize that this is the moment that is going to change you for the rest of your lives. Now, the reason why I wanted to call this little workshop, this keynote, this little session, what I called it, is because we are literally in power of our own minds, but we also can get trapped there. And this is called breaking through your own mind. When you have constant thoughts literally scrambling through your brain and you have nobody to talk to, or you have no way to let it out, those thoughts literally get bundled up and they get expressed out somehow, whether that's physically, mentally, verbally, whatever it is. But a lot of times our thoughts just get trapped in our own mind. They build up and then they start going crazy. And what I like to tell a lot of people is the things you think about the most, the things you tell yourself the most, and the things that you just think are going to become reality, they start to become real. It starts to become your reality, because your thoughts become things. Your thoughts become things. And I want you guys to remember this. The way 2020 has played out, I see all over Facebook and social media and this and that, and I see videos and pictures of how people just want 2020 to end. 2020, for a lot of people, yeah, it seemed to be started, like it started off bad, right? But in actuality, 2020 is honestly just another year. It's just what the media shows you. It's what your friends talk about, your family. It's what you hear about. And it's almost like trending. 2020 is so bad, but it's not. The 2020 is an amazing year. It's another amazing year, but you have to make it be an amazing year. If you constantly keep thinking like, man, I can't wait till 2021, or I can't wait till next year, or I can't wait for this whole pandemic to be over, or I can't wait to see my loved ones. If you constantly think that, you're going to feel as if you're trapped. And if you feel as if you're trapped and you're already not seeing people in their physical form, and you're just like paranoid and you're scared, and you feel like you just can't wait till this year's over, then you will be trapped in your own thoughts. And I'm going to show you guys throughout this talk. I know I only have an hour, or like about 55 minutes, and then like 5 minutes for questions or so. But I wanted to show you guys a few techniques, how to just break through that, because this is the worst time for people, or for indigenous people in particular, to be stuck at home, to not be able to see their friends, to not be able to go outside and play basketball or a sport or whatever it may be. A lot of people, how they cope with their depression and their mental illness, and their loneliness, and the way they are just antisocial. A lot of people, how they cope with that is going out there, being outside. I've even spoken to a few students that are in school right now that were bullied last year, that didn't even want to be in school, that were just fed up and couldn't wait till it was over. I've spoken to them this year, and they want to go back to school. There's a ton of kids, youth out there that just want to be like in their physical classes, to actually see somebody. Because virtually, it is amazing. Like right now, I'm speaking to people in Alaska, and who would have thought like technology has brought that to us, and it's so amazing. And we're honestly blessed in the life we're living right now to be able to do this. But you guys have to understand, you have to check up on each other. You have to start speaking out. You have to start just putting yourself out there. If you're having a bad day, you're having a good day, you have to reach out and let somebody know how you're feeling, because a lot of the times we can't read your mind. Nobody could read my mind. Nobody knows how my day was, because if I kept it in, nobody would know, unless somebody asked me, or unless I told somebody, hey, I'm not feeling too good today, or I'm not feeling the best. I'm not feeling 100. Like maybe we can talk. Maybe we could talk through virtually, or maybe we can meet up if you're close enough. And I want to let everybody know too, that just because you don't see anybody, or you're not in a physical class or at work or whatever it may be, it doesn't mean that it's gonna stay like this. It doesn't mean that this is gonna be permanent. And I say that because at the beginning of this whole pandemic and everything, I was so caught up in my thoughts, because I was used to just traveling nonstop on the road throughout the whole United States and Canada. And I literally traveling on the road in my car. And I remember at the beginning, I'm just like, man, I hope this pandemic and this quarantine and everything ends soon, because I don't know how much longer I could deal with this. I'm just so used to traveling, and then everything comes to a halt all of a sudden. And I'm just like, wow, like what am I going to do? Like, how do I just reach out there? How do I get my point across, and just speak to all these youth that I've been speaking to for going on a decade now? How do I continue to make this outreach? But those thoughts for like honestly, a good couple months, like 2 months, 2.5 months, those thoughts that I was having, I'm just like, I just want to get back on the road, all this and that. They were honestly becoming like a reason or excuses of not continuing the work, even virtually. And I just remembered hearing about Zoom. I remember my first Zoom meeting was in like, what was it, May or something. And I was like, wow. And before then, I've never really done anything virtually except for like Skype, FaceTime, or was that Messenger like FaceTime call. Before that, I was just like wow, this can work. You can be in literally 50 different places all at once. And it's insane. And I had to take advantage of that opportunity. And so did a lot of other people. I want everyone to know that when you start out your day and when you getting ready to go about your day and plan everything out, have a plan. Have a plan of what you want to get done and keep yourself busy every single day. It's the little things that we skip out on in the morning, with whether it's not stretching, not starting your day off with positive thoughts, not drinking water when you wake up, not talking to creator as soon as your eyelids open. It's the little things of not giving thanks that can off balance and off center your day. So it's the little things that add up. Maybe you have a job, you have a 9 to 5, maybe you have school and you got 7 or 8 hours of school every single day, or maybe you have to babysit or take care of business, like these big tasks every day, but it's the little things that need to fill in that will balance out your day. Something, and this is little example, something that I do every single day as soon as I wake up. This is a tiny cup. This is a tiny cup. I drink 2 full cups of water to start my day, and it's room temperature or warm water. Boom, I start my day off just like that. And then I use the restroom, brush my teeth, wash my face, take a shower, all that stuff, right? The first thing I do is pray and then drink water. But it's keeping a routine and keeping yourself sane. Because as soon as you slip up throughout the day and you have a little negative thought, or you just feel like, oh man, today is the same day repeating itself, right? That's why you have to have a plan. You have to set a goal, and you have to make it your job to complete that goal and to complete that task. I have a whole list of things in my phone that I have to get done every single day. And I always feel like there's not enough time in the day for me to get these things done. But that too is like overthinking. Something I want to do with you guys right now, and it's just closing your eyes once again, but something I want to do with everybody is something you can take with you, but I also want you guys to share this with somebody you love. Especially share it with somebody that feels trapped, feels lost, feels disconnected of some sort. I want you guys not just keep this for yourself, but take this little technique and share it with your community, your loved ones, your mother, whoever you need to share it with. Whoever you feel like needs it the most, share it with them, but share it with everybody. So everybody can once again close your eyes. And I want you to envision yourself this time in a tunnel. And inside this tunnel, it is so dark. It's like pitch black. But you could just barely see on the left and the right sides of this tunnel that there are open doors all the way down the left side, all the way down the right side. And all these open doors in this tunnel, it leads to, and it seems far, it's in the distance. It's a ball of light at the end of that tunnel. It's a small ball of light, but it's so bright, it seems huge. And when you look at that ball of light, it's like comforting. Now on the left and the right sides of these tunnels are these open doors, and I want you to envision yourself walking into one of them. When you walk in one of those doors, choose anyone left or right side, take a couple steps in, and that door closes behind you and it disappears. And it's pitch black. It feels like almost humid, real groggy, uncomfortable. You don't want to be in there. It almost feels like you're in quicksand or mud, or just like you have a heavy blanket on top of you, weights on your shoulders. And now I want you to envision yourself back in that tunnel, right where you were. Now envision yourself taking just a few steps forward towards that ball of light. And as you take a few steps forward on the left and on the right, every door you pass closes and they disappear. And what these open doors, all tens of thousands of these open doors represent, is negativity, obstacles. If you want to call the people haters, if you want to call the people negative people, whatever you want to call them, whatever the negativity is in your life that tries to stop you every single day, that's what these doors represent. And as you begin to move forward, they start to disappear. But as they disappear and you start to move forward, you start to become stronger, more resilient, more aware of who you are. You become more powerful, and you start to really recognize your worth and why you're here and what your purpose is here on this earth and why you were actually created. What that ball of light represents is your goals, your ambitions, everything you've ever sacrificed for, everything you're striving for. Everything you have ever wanted in your life, that's what that ball of light is. But it's at the other end of the tunnel, and here are these obstacles, these distractions, this negativity on the left and the right. You can look left, you can look right, but continue to move forward. To continue to let yourself become stronger. Now I want you to envision yourself jogging towards that ball of light, and it starts to become closer and closer, and you start to go on to a full-on sprint towards that ball of light, and you start to become so powerful, and you feel it. And almost every single door has almost completely disappeared because you're almost at your destination, at that goal. Now I want you to envision yourself just running straight into that ball of light, and you have reached it. You have reached everything you have ever wanted. You literally have it in the palms of your hands. You have it flowing through the veins in your body. Now slowly open up your eyes. That little technique alone, this is something I literally been using for years and years and years. And I just came up with this one day when I was feeling almost at my lowest, when I was feeling like so lost, so disconnected. And I was at a time in my life where I wasn't praying to Creator as much. I was at a time in my life where I kept thinking of every little thing, every little negative thing. I'd let it get to me and I'd think about it. And I would literally lose my thoughts, my train of thoughts, or what I had to do for the day. And I came up with this little thing in my head when I just closed my eyes one day and I was in a quiet room. And I was just like, wow. I was like, it's possible. If I can envision this, this is possible. If I could put myself in such an uncomfortable place, which is usually my thoughts, and I can make it into something positive, something that is actually like form-fitting to my mind, anything is possible. So you can use this, whether it's a mirror image, whether it's if you fully want to copy it, go ahead, run with it, write it down, take a picture, make a video out of it, whatever you have to do, envision that every single day. If you want to tweak it a little bit or add your own things or do something entirely different, do that. That's almost a form of meditating, and that's what you need every single day to start your day. Because once you see these little things and you make these little goals, what you want in your life, you get them done. That's another step towards that ball of light inside that tunnel. But what that ball of light is, you need to keep your eye on that. You need to keep your main focus on that. Those doors can be drugs. It could be alcohol. Those doors can be homelessness. Those doors can be a toxic relationship, whatever it is. That's what those doors represent. And it's in all of our lives. Every single person is going through something at their house right now and inside their own mind, and it's building up, and you just think about it every single day. But once you control your thoughts, once you start letting go of the negative, it starts becoming replaced with the positive things. But that's just one little technique you need to take home with you, and you just need to practice that. It's just like basketball. It's just like any other sport. It's just like a speech or writing or whatever. If I were to go in the gym and I shoot just 5 free throws and I'm like, oh, I'm set for the week, right? Versus if I go into the gym every single day, hours a day, and I shoot 100 free throws a day, I'm going to become way better. I'll probably never miss a free throw in my life if I do that. So it's practice. It's how bad you want it. How bad do you want to have control over your own thoughts, control over your own mind? How bad do you want to break through the negativity? How bad do you want to break through your negative thoughts and the way you're thinking and your actions? Because remember I said at the beginning, your thoughts become things. What you think about the most, you're going to bring about, and it's going to become reality. So why not control and practice your thoughts right now and all your positive energy? Why not do that? we can come up with excuses every single day on how we feel like our life should be or why our life is the way it is. Um, just this past quarantine, I took the opportunity to start growing out the sides of my hair, and it's really growing out now, and it used to be shaved on the sides. And I'm just like, okay, this is the time it's the most perfect time because everything's virtual. I'm not really like seeing anybody in person anymore, like large crowds. I'm like, this is the most comfortable time because it's just meant to play out this way. I still have my braids, still have my long hair, but now I'm growing out my sides, and I'm always out there, just telling like young youth, don't be ashamed of your hair, don't be ashamed of who you are, like grow it out. There's these stages you go through, like step by step by step, and it's gonna feel. I'm talking about hair right now, but it's gonna feel uncomfortable. Sometimes you're gonna feel like, oh, it's annoying. Sometimes you just like you get the urge like, oh, I'm a little too different, I want to cut it, or whatever it may be. You're getting bullied, but it's the process. It's the connection you get when you grow your hair out. And I feel it at a whole nother level because I haven't had a full head of long hair since I was 5 years old. And that was a really long time ago because I'm about to be 40. No, I'm just kidding. I'm 27 years old right now, but it's a whole new stage, and it's brought a whole new meaning to my life. And it's a new goal that I set for myself is to keep my hair growing out so I can have a full head of hair again. But it's definitely something that I see and feel every single day because I'm not used to having a bunch of hair on the sides of my head. But that's a little goal I set for myself. That's something where I was just like, okay, I'm not going to give up on this because if I'm out there and I'm preaching to youth and kids and everybody don't cut your hair, this and that, and then I go and do the opposite, I'm a hypocrite. So I'm growing out my hair, and that's my main goal for however long it takes for it to catch up with the rest of the length. But something I do want to say is your time, especially right now in this very moment with everything going on in the world, your time is so precious. Your time matters. Your time needs to be utilized in the most respectful way that it's ever been utilized before. Because time now almost seems non-existent for a lot of people. Like I have all the time in the day, a lot of people feel like. I talk and speak with so many people where they feel like they don't even know what to do every single day. But the clock is still ticking. Nobody here on earth is getting any younger. Nobody here on earth is getting any dumber. You have to realize that every single thing that happens in earth and every single second that goes by here on earth is a moment of opportunity. But a lot of people right now, just because everything's virtual, just because everything is socially distanced, they use that excuse as, oh, I got time to waste. I have time on my hands and I don't know what to do with it. That's why you need to set goals. That's why you need to be mindful of how you're spending your time. And I always tell everyone I run into, everybody I run into, it's the people you hang around the most. It's your thoughts you think about the most that will turn your mental, whatever you have going on in your head, into a reality. And I'm going to use this as an example. If let's say this past 3 months, this whole summer, this past 3 months, I was just kicking back and I wasn't working out and I was just straight up eating and I was caught up in my own thoughts and I was hanging out with the wrong people and negative people, even though I know they're negative, and I just kick it with them anyways. And I just go about my day as if my time doesn't matter just because I'm caught up in this whole like 2020 is so negative trend, right? These whole past 3 months, just imagine where you would be right now. You would be pretty lost. If you spent 3 months focusing on negative things, you'd be pretty lost right now. Versus if you look at the next 3 months to come, October, November, December, you'll be set for 2020. If you let go of everything negative that has ever happened this year, whether you have loved ones that have passed, whether you've got a toxic relationship, whether you had a mental breakdown or you have anxiety or you feel like you're too fat, too skinny, too small, too short, too tall, whatever it may be, if you can get and practice getting rid of all of that negative energy, all that negative thoughts for 3 months, for the next 90 days, 2020 will be such an amazing year. And that you don't have to just look forward to 2020. Every single day that passes, if you start this right now, next week will be amazing. Tomorrow morning when you open your eyes, if you start right now, practicing positivity, talking with Creator, going out, working out, making it your goal to reach out to somebody, ask how their day is going, reach out to somebody and let them know how you're doing today. You make it your goal for the next 90 days. I promise you, you're going to be 110% like a freight train. Nothing could stop you. But it's practice. It's practice every single day. If you want another 3 months of negativity, don't practice. Don't practice any positive things. And it's super, super easy. It's so easy to be negative. It's so easy to be caught up in your negative thoughts and hang out with the wrong crowds. It's easy. It really is. But you know what's easier is being happy. A lot of people don't think it's easy to be happy, but it is when you practice. I want to make sure that everybody here leaves with at least a handful of techniques they can take home with themselves when you catch yourself by yourself and you're just caught up in your own thoughts. Use some of these techniques I'm going to show you throughout the hour, and pick your favorite one. Use that one first just to get your energy going. And the next thing I want everybody to do is continue to be that positive influence. I can't be on here and just saying like, go do this, go do that, practice these techniques, drink lots of water, speak with Creator, all that stuff. And then I go and do the opposite. And I just like log out of this Zoom meeting and then I just go do something so negative. I can't do that. I can't do that at all. First of all, that's not who I am. And then second of all, I can't be a negative person and then just go out there and tell everybody just live a positive lifestyle. That's not me. That's not who I am. All right. Now another little technique I'm going to show you guys, and this is for the people that have never heard this before, or they feel like they're almost not deserving, or they can't see themselves as what I'm about to say. You are wrong. So here we go. I want everybody to close your eyes one more time that is listening. Close your eyes. This time I want you to envision. All these techniques are about envisioning, because what you envision will become a reality. So if you can envision the positive things, you're set. So here we go. Close your eyes. And this time I want you to envision yourself in a mirror. Look at yourself in that mirror. See yourself at your most beautiful, whether you're wearing a dress, whether you're wearing just sweatpants and kicked back, or you're wearing a suit and tie, jeans, your favorite shirt, whatever it is. Envision that in that mirror right now. And I want you to repeat after me. But when you repeat after me, I want you to feel what you are saying. I want you to feel what you are thinking. And really only focus in on these positive thoughts. Really only focus in on these positive feelings and these things you're about to say to yourself. So here we go. Look in that mirror. See yourself at your most beautiful. And I want you to repeat after me. I am strong. I am powerful. I am beautiful. One more time. This time around, we're going to say the same thing, but now I really want you to focus. Now I really want you to have true meaning behind every word that leaves the tip of your tongue, because everything you say to yourself is what you will become. I am strong. I am powerful. I am beautiful. Slowly open up your eyes. Every time you feel lost, you feel down, you feel sad, you feel depressed, you feel disconnected, or you just feel like you need a little boost, close your eyes and do that. Close your eyes and envision yourself in that tunnel. Close your eyes and just say these positive things, what you have accomplished throughout your life. That alone can give you such a boost of energy. And I know it seems like, oh, like how embarrassing. I can't do this out in public. You sure can. Whether it's closing your eyes, some people could do it with their eyes open. If you could just think positive thoughts and you just have your eyes open, that's a connection to Creator. That's a prayer right there. I want everyone to realize that every single person that's listening right now and every single person that's not listening right now, like whether they're just out and about and they're having a tough time, or today they feel like today is the day where they just don't feel like doing anything. I want every single person to know that tomorrow, as cliche and corny as this sounds, tomorrow actually gets better if you let it. Tomorrow can become better, will become better if you let it. Tomorrow can be the nastiest, ugliest days if you let it. But you have to learn and you have to practice. And I'm going to keep saying this over and over until I'm done speaking today. Practice, practice, practice. Because without practice, without constant thinking and positivity and all this and setting goals and planning everything out, without any of that, you will continue to be lost. You will continue to be trapped in your own mind, your own thoughts, and feel like nothing is possible. So there's no excuse. There's no excuse at all whatsoever. If you live in a toxic household, it's not impossible. And the reason I say that is because I've been in so many negative situations, so many negative places in my life and times in my life where I felt like giving up. I felt like one day was going to be my last day, or I felt like nobody cared or nobody loved me. But that's because I was overthinking and caught up with my thoughts too much. I was around so much negativity and I was just soaking it in like a sponge and I didn't even know. So there's no excuse not to be happy. There's no excuse not to just live your life to the fullest. There's going to be a time in your life, or there already has been a time in your life, where it's going to be the worst day, the worst week, the worst year, the worst couple of years. Because sometimes it takes people years to get over whatever they're feeling, whether that's trauma, whether that's their physical appearance, whether that's their mental health, whatever it is. There's going to be times where you're going to be at your lowest. But once you're at your lowest and you rise from that, you become stronger than ever. But you have to have faith and you got to practice. Having faith and just believing that tomorrow is a brand new day and you're unstoppable, that alone can save your life. But practicing these positive techniques and these positive things every single day, that is what can save your life in the long run. But you have to believe and you have to feel every single moment for what it is. When Maka reached out to me and she asked if I wanted to be a part of this, I was just like, whoa, like I couldn't turn this down at all. Whether I had something going on today, and I did, whether I had something going on today or not, I couldn't turn this down. Because it's like those small little positive things, whether it's someone just reaching out and saying, how are you doing? Or someone saying, hey, you want to be a part of this project that I'm doing, or part of this summit or conference or whatever it is. Those things mean so much. For everybody attending right now, I said it at the beginning, but I'm going to say again, you are meant to be here. You are meant to be in this current situation, this time in our lives. Now, I want everybody to realize what we're experiencing right now, not just this year, but what we're experiencing right now, this very moment, it'll never take place exactly how it's taking place ever again. I'm going to say that again. This very moment, from the words, from the clothes we're wearing, to the people that are attending, from the eyeballs that are looking on these screens right now, this will never happen the way it is happening right now ever again. So soak these moments up, take advantage, be a sponge of positivity today and soak up all that good energy. There is no excuse to be a negative person. There is no excuse to be trapped in your own minds. Yes, it happens, but you can get through it. And I tell people all the time, when you go about and you plan out your day, make a plan, set some goals, but along the way, do some positive things. Do some positive things throughout the day that are not only going to make you happy, but other people happy, because you never know what somebody else is going through. You never know whether it's a person walking down the street with a smile on their face, or whether it's a person on the corner that looks so depressed, that person with a smile on their face might be a little more torn down and beat up and mentally and physically, spiritually lost than the person that actually looks sad. I'm not saying the person that looks sad isn't sad. I'm just saying you never know what anybody is going through. So I want you guys to make it your objective to do 3 things every single day. When you wake up, practice one of these techniques that I've showed you throughout this talk so far, the past 40 minutes. Practice those techniques. Number 2, set your goals and accomplish those goals. Set your goals and accomplish them, because once you do that, at the end of the day, you have something to look back on and said, I did something today. I got something done today. Now let's make another day. Let's set some more goals for tomorrow. And number 3, end your night before you go to bed with positivity. You do not want to go to bed in a negative manner, because once you do that, that's exactly how you're going to wake up. You go to bed negative, or you go to bed with something like that's on your mind and you can't get it out. You might even dream about it, but you're going to wake up like that. But it doesn't mean, if you do go to bed in a negative way, it doesn't mean you can't start your day off in a positive way. It doesn't mean that at all. But your day can automatically start out positive if you go to bed happy. You go to bed peaceful. You go to bed with your mind at ease. But like I said, and I'm going to repeat myself again, that comes with practice. I have about 15 more minutes before questions, Q&A, about 15. So I want to get a couple things across. I want you to ask yourself right now what you would do tonight at midnight. Once the clock strikes midnight and that hand hits 12, what you would do if somebody gave you $86,400. Think about this for a second. $86,400, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Whether you have that saved up in your bank account or whether you've never seen that amount of money in cash before, this amount is for you for however you want to spend it. This amount of money is going to be there at midnight tonight. Just think to yourself right now, what is the first thing you would do? Would you buy a new car? Would you buy a new house? Would you give some of your money or all of your money away because you think or you feel as if you're already financially set? Would you help your family out? Would you just go on a splurge, go shopping online, Amazon? Amazon is everybody's heroes right now. But really think about that. $86,400 at midnight tonight. What would you do? Now, there's a little catch. 24 hours is all you have to spend $86,400. 24 hours. That's it. And I know a lot of you thinking 24 hours, that's plenty of time. Like, give me 10 minutes, it's gone, right? However you want to spend it, that's how you can spend it. If you want to try to invest it into yourself or into other people, however you want to do it. But there's another catch. There's another rule. The other catch is $86,400 in your bank account at midnight. 24 hours passes. Once that 24 hours is up, whatever you did not spend out of that money that was put in your account at midnight disappears. But you get a brand new $86,400 every single time that clock strikes midnight. But it's the same thing every single day. Whatever you don't spend throughout that day disappears. I know some of you are thinking, wow, that's a lot of money, like every single day. Like I'm set for life. If I get $86,400 a day, like just in a couple of weeks, I'll be a multimillionaire. Like insane, right? So here is something that you need to soak up and you need to really think about. There are 86,400 seconds in every single day. 86,400 seconds every single day. Our time already started. How did we just spend all of our time leading up to this very moment. I know a lot of people that are listening right now, you guys are spending that moment still investing your time into youth, into the speakers, into that building and on the computer and all that. You guys are doing something like positive with that time right now. But a lot of people that maybe were supposed to be here online, maybe they had something else to do, but maybe they're wasting the time. Who knows? Who knows what they're really doing, because it's our time, but we choose to do however we want to handle this time, right? 86,400 seconds in every single day. The clock starts ticking at midnight. Once the clock starts ticking, you only have 24 hours to utilize and spend that time however you want to spend it. But the catch is, once 24 hours is up, out of those 86,400 seconds, it disappears. But you get a brand new 86,400 seconds. But it doesn't transfer over to the next day. Say you waste 7 hours in one day, lounging out on the couch, smoking, drinking, being negative, doing something you weren't supposed to do. And you think you can, I'll save some of that time and bring it with me like it's money. I'll save some of this money and I'll bring it with me to the next day, so I'm set. It doesn't work like that. Once your time is up, it's up. There's no press and pause. There's no rewinding. There's not even no fast forwarding. Once you use your time and your seconds, like how we're using them right now, it's up and it's finished. If we valued and we really just recognized our time and valued and treated it as if we did our money, we'd be living entirely different lives. Entirely different lives. And really think about this. Valuing your money over your time is stupid all by itself. But a lot of people do it every single day. But if we could treat our time, if like you value money so much, and a lot of people do, if we value our time as if we did our money, as much as we did our money, where would you be today? Think about that. That's for you. If you're already set with your time and you know how to manage your time in a good way, good on you. That's good, because we need more people like that. But I look at a lot of people throughout the day and I'm just like, wow, like, do we all really realize that our time is ticking every single day and we have to start investing this? Not saying you can't go out and get a scoop of ice cream and go chill or go watch a movie and you got to constantly be doing something every single day. I'm not saying don't go relax. I'm not saying don't go on a vacation. I'm not saying that at all. I'm talking about when you know you're supposed to be doing something else, or you can be doing something better and more positive with your time. Sit there and really think and give yourself 5 seconds, because you don't want to waste any more time than 5 seconds. And that's called a 5-second rule, but that's something entirely different. Give yourself 5 seconds. Should I really be doing this? Do I really need to be doing this? Is this going to help me? I'm getting ready to waste 10 hours of my day. Is this worth it? Think about it, but not too hard, not too long, because your time is ticking. All right, I got a short amount of time left. I do want to leave you guys with one little story, super quick. This story is about myself when I was younger, and I'm going to keep it super quick. When I was younger, when I was about 11 years old, I was in 6th grade, I believe. Yeah, 11 years old in 6th grade. And I was at a brand new school. I was only about 2 weeks in this brand new school with my sister. And I was getting bullied so much, like getting beat up, getting called names, getting my hair pulled, people threatening to cut my hair off, and just like the bullying to the extent, right? I dealt with that for 3 straight years at that school. But even before that, in elementary school, like I got it bad. But it was this school where my eyes really started to open, and my mind started to really just start thinking about everything. Like, do I want long hair? Do I want to be in this position forever? How long is this bullying going to last? Because I thought it would last all the way like to now even, right? And at the moment, it was pretty traumatizing, being bullied and having to be scared going to school and distracting me from my schoolwork and having to constantly defend myself at school and getting suspended or on the verge of getting expelled at times, I felt so lost, and I felt as if nobody would understand my situation, because I thought at the time my situation was so unique. Nobody else is getting bullied how I was getting bullied and all this other stuff, right? But when I got older, I realized that I needed somebody. When I got older, I realized that I wish I had somebody at that time, like at my school, an advocate or a parent to help me out. My mom was there, but she had 2 full-time jobs, and she would go to work before we'd ever wake up for school, and she would get back from work when we were already asleep, like for the next day. So we'd rarely see our mom because she was working, like busting her butt every single day. But I just wish I had somebody at my school or somebody to talk to about all the situations and everything I was going through. Like the teachers were there, but they didn't really understand, and I couldn't really connect with them because they didn't understand what my hair meant to me. And I've understood what my hair meant to me from such a young age. Like I was already braiding my hair like when I was 10 or 11 years old, like my own hair. And I understood the significance of it. But being bullied and spending so much time like overthinking and being paranoid that whole time, I just wish I had somebody to stand up for me almost. And that's why I continue to do what I do. And that's why I continue to just bring awareness to boys with braids, or bullying or suicide or whatever it may be. I try to bring so much awareness to that, whether it's virtually or whether it was physically before all this pandemic and everything happened. But the reason why I told that story is anybody that's dealing with anything, no matter what age you're going through, don't spend too much time thinking about negative things and having something you think about that's so negative distracting you from your reality and your present time on what you're supposed to be really just conquering in your life. When you set a goal throughout the day, don't let anything distract you and keep you from achieving that goal throughout the day. When you set a goal throughout the year or the next 10 years, don't let anything stop you. But I'm not saying there's not going to be times where you won't get stopped. You might get stopped right in your tracks, but how are you going to break through that? How are you going to go around it, jump over it, whatever you got to do, crawl under it? How are you going to do that? It's by practicing. It's by practicing your mental thoughts. And this is where it begins. It's your mental thoughts, your positive thoughts. That's what's going to get you throughout your day. But this is connected to everything else. Your nervous system, your muscles, your physical health, your emotional health, everything. It's your thoughts. It's your thoughts and your mind power and your will to control your mind power that's going to get you through these tough times. This October, what is the date today? Today's September 24th. I have like it was supposed to be 7 more days until I hit the road again, and I go on this socially distanced speaking tour where everything is portable from the stage, so I don't have to stage and the speakers and the mic, where I don't have to be in an auditorium or in a gymnasium or any of that, or at a school where people are just like in a crowded room. I'm going on this socially distanced speaking tour to bring awareness to suicide prevention. That's going to be my main focus, but also going to talk about mental health and wellness, and teen dating violence and domestic violence and all that stuff. But my main focus is going to be suicide prevention. And that was supposed to start October 1st, but most likely it's going to start October 3rd. But I'm going from Phoenix, Arizona to the East Coast of the United States and then back, but taking a different route. And I'll probably end up in Washington or Oregon. Haven't planned the last state out yet, but I'm going to do that socially distanced, mask, gloves, everything, hand sanitizer, Lysol spray, whatever, sage, doing all of that. And a lot of people are like, this dude is crazy, but I got the whole setup and I have to make it happen because virtually you can only feel so much. Virtually is something that is accessible to almost every single person, but you can only feel so much like through electronics. So that's something that I'm going out of my way of doing, and I'm trying to just hit up as many places as I can for the next month once that begins. But I think we're almost, we're at the Q&A time. So I do want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in, listening, and Chimigwech for being here today. But if anybody has any questions, I believe, just
Yes, thank you so much, Dyami. I have some questions I can share to you from our audience that are coming in live. The first question is from Kate D, and she wanted to thank you for sharing so much on your stories of vulnerability. And her question for you was, who are your greatest teachers?
My greatest teachers. Number one, Creator. Creator has helped me out through so many different ways, and it's taught me so much, whether it's physical form in my mind or any of that spiritual form. But my mother is definitely one of my greatest teachers. She's taught me so much of just in life in general. So in human version, my mother is definitely my greatest teacher.
Thank you so much for that. I can definitely relate. When I think of my greatest teachers, I think of my grandparents and my mom and my brother, and actually Mita, who has helped me as a traditional healer. I think having access to traditional pathways of healing, especially for mental health, has been critical and key to my journey thus far. We have another wonderful question in from Ashley M. And Ashley's question for you, Dyami, was, what are ways that you prevent burnout, especially when having to face different areas of negativity and systemic racism?
Ways that I prevent burnout is this whole past summer, I've been dealing with like a lot of people's issues and energy and stuff through virtual meetings like this. And this right here, honestly, if I were just to walk out in public right now and go into a mall or a store or anything, I just look like a white dude, like a straight up white guy. If you can't see my braid, you just honestly probably think I'm your average white guy walking in the store, unrecognizable, right? And that is one way that I have noticed the difference between getting like the looks, the judgments, and just being discriminated against when I had my head shaved and you could see my tattoos in the back of my neck and stuff, or you could see my braid. Putting a hat on, I'm not saying I do it all the time, but I'm doing it to keep my hair back. That's going in right now. But that is one way that I have noticed a huge difference of like racism. And it's just like, it's crazy. Like you'll see somebody with like a Confederate flag shirt and they'll just say, hey, what's going on, brother? Like treat me, whether I'm going through Texas or whether I'm going through Alabama or whatever, because I'm still like driving around and stuff. And I'm just like, man, I never would have thought in a million years that like these people would give me head nods or whatever. And it's a creepy feeling. But one way I prevent these burnouts is I like to begin, like I said, my day with a prayer and with water, but I also smudge every single day. And I make sure to take time alone for myself. And one of those is basketball. I play like hours of basketball when I can. And it's just like, whether I'm on the court with some people or whether I'm on the court by myself, which I prefer by myself, is I just let everything go there. And that's like a gateway of just like release. But that on top of prayer and smudging, that's how I prevent, I guess, the burnout.
Thank you so much for that, Dyami. We have time for one more question. And for that question is, we know that you have used, or a part of your professional background has been in acting and narrative building. And so what do you see as the value of cinema or filmmaking, especially in Indigenous representation and sharing Indigenous narratives? I think all too often, sometimes Indigenous narratives aren't, we don't have access to the spaces to share these narratives. And so I suppose, what do you see as that value, and what would be advice you would have for young storytellers?
Well, the value I see of that is honestly just the change in the era. And it's something we have to take advantage of, because when you look at the movies from back in the day and you look at the movies now, you had like non-natives, and still today but way more back then, non-natives playing natives, indigenous people. And people were like typecast as like, okay, do you have like that red skin tone? Or are you like super dark? Or you have straight black, long hair, all this other stuff. So it's the moment and era we're living in right now, we have to take full advantage. And it's awesome too, because you have native directors, you have native actors, you have native script writers and producers, and it just keeps growing from there. And it's honestly something that not to get on like the, I wouldn't say negative side, but there's a truth behind like native film, cinemas, Hollywood, all of that. It's not to get caught up in that, because I know there's a lot of people out there that are non-native that get caught up in like the scene, or they get almost trapped in like the industry type stuff. And one of the reasons I just keep like pretty low and I do like a few film projects here and there is because I've seen like an ugly truth behind like Hollywood and all the other stuff. And that's why I really do love working solely with native people, because that's the type of people I can trust. But it's you just have to watch your back, honestly. Just to mention that, you have to watch your back in the real industry, because there are ugly sides to everything. But this is the era where we, like I said, have to take full advantage. Natives are on the rise, and it's a beautiful thing.
Thank you so much, Dyami. As you were speaking, I was chatting with Mira, and I was like, he needs his own podcast. Like the types of visualizations that you create and the motivation and the way that you can inspire through your experiences is something that I think a lot of people can benefit from, whether they're Indigenous or whether they're not. It doesn't matter. We really appreciate you taking the time to share with us today. And if any of our viewers want to connect with you, you can find him on, I think, Instagram. Do you have a Twitter?
Yeah, Twitter. Everything's under Dyami Thomas.
Okay,
Twitter,
great.
yeah, TikTok.
So,
whatever.
yeah, and thank you so much for joining us, Dyami, and we will be